The meter looks green. All indications look great. The meeting is yours, Mr. Kowal. Let me know if you need anything.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year, first of all, to all my board members and members of the public out there. And an interesting new year it's been. I would like to welcome you all to the regular board meeting of January 19th, 2021, 7 p.m., which is done in accordance with the electronic meetings. This meeting will be held electronically as authorized under the Open Meetings Act, Public Act number 267 of 1976, as amended. Members of the public body and members of the public may participate electronically as instructed via over the internet, email, posted at the township, and a number of other places. So with that, I would like to call the meeting to order, and I will call for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance, please. Ken?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you and welcome. I'd like to do roll call. Mr. Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Supervisor Kowal,
Here.
Clerk Noble here, Treasurer Roman,
Here.
Trustee Ruggles,
Here.
Trustee Smith,
Here.
Trustee Voorhees,
Present.
Trustee Powell. He's not here.
MIA. Okay, for the moment. He hopefully will join us into the meeting once he gets seated on the de-icing airplane. Okay, with this, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda. I'd like to add item number 9, and that will be the IAFF tentative agreement, the International Association of Firefighters Agreement. I would also like to add to 9E, we're actually going to be adding a resolution with that. That is the WODA item. And I would like to add 9G, which is a settlement agreement of which Lisa Hamami will brief us on when we get to that point. That being said, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda. Looking for support.
Support.
I have support from Scott Ruggles. Roll call vote. Mr. Clerk?
Supervisor Kowal,
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Treasurer Roman,
Yes.
Trustee Ruggles,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Trustee Voorhees,
Yes.
Trustee Powell. Absent.
Okay. We have approval of the agenda. Moving on to item 5, public comment. At this time, obviously, when we have live meetings, we do things a little bit differently, but in this particular meeting, if you have something to say about anything that's on the agenda at this time, again, this is not a question and answer period. This is a public comment. So if you have something that you would like to state, please do so at this time. Ken, see if we have any hands up out there, and that would be the *9 feature, correct?
That's correct, Mr. Kowal. Again, to any callers that would like to make a comment, please press *9 on your keypad, and we will call you in the order that we receive them. Again, that's *9.
Hey, Rick,
Yes.
just to be clear, you're calling for all items because you've got a number of public hearings on the agenda.
Oh, that is true. We will have public hearing items, and I beg your pardon. Thank you, Lisa. I stand corrected. If there are items on the agenda that are under the public hearing, that would be the proper time to comment on those particular items. Again, if your item is under any public hearing on the agenda, that would be the proper time to comment on that. I stand corrected. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, moving forward, we'll see if we can filter people through here.
Yep, we have several people with their hands raised. We just ask for your patience. We're going to start with the first caller. The last 4 digits of your phone number, caller, are 3610. I'm going to have you press *6 on your keypad to unmute. And again, please state your name and address for the record. Go ahead, caller.
Thank you for taking me. I think I may not be able to do this if it's not under public. I was going to say something about the Russell Beach Association, but I guess it's not a public hearing for that. We're not supposed to speak on that? Is that
We don't
correct?
specifically have anything. Russell Beach is referring to, if you have something to say about it, go ahead.
I think there's a number of us that thought we were going to be able to say something about it. I thought you were going to go over it, not just as new business, but maybe. Okay, so anyhow, my name's Tricia Dunn. I'm at 8492 Cascade Street, and I appreciate you listening to our concerns. I've lived here for 13 years. This is regarding the Russell Beach on new business number A9A.
That would be,
my
then there,
husband-
yeah, that'll be, when we get to
Okay.
that, dear, if you want to come back on, we'll be happy to listen to what you have to say.
Okay,
This
that's
is-
what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. It's quite all right with the Zoom meetings. It's always a learning curve for everybody, myself included. I relearn every month. So, but at that
Okay.
time, if you want to come back on, you can.
Hey, Rick,
Okay.
Yep.
if I can interrupt one more time, it might be easier if Ken announces how to unraise your hand so that
Okay.
people realize now if it's an item on the agenda, will you allow comment under each agenda item or just for public hearings?
We'll do public hearings, and there are a couple controversial item agendas, or concerning item agendas. So we'll have some discussion with the board and then open it up for public input after that.
So this public comment period right now is for items not on the agenda, correct?
You know, for the last year, we've been doing it differently, so I guess it's taken a little getting used to again. So yes,
I
the answer
know.
would be, these are things that, and I beg your pardon with the public, we're still doing this technological thing here. So tonight's meeting would be things that are not on the agenda. If you have something that is on the agenda, we'll try to have at that time when those items come up to speak. We had a little different format in previous meetings because there wasn't so many public meetings, but tonight we do have several public things. So Ken, if they want to
Yeah. So here's what I'll do. I will have the system lower everyone's hands right now. It looks like there's probably half a dozen hands that are raised. And again, I apologize, callers. Once I lower your hands, if you would like to speak for the appropriate topic, you'll have to re-raise your hand, which is *9. Okay, so I'll begin lowering all hands. Okay, all hands are lowered. Now,
So-
if anyone would like to speak, press *9.
again, if it's not on the agenda, if it's an item not on the agenda.
Okay.
Thank you for correcting me, Lisa.
All right, caller with the last 4 digits, 5600. Please press *6 on your keypad and state your name and address for the record. Go ahead, caller.
My name is Matthew Kobliska at 280 View Drive. I'm trying to log in through Zoom and it's asking for a meeting passcode, and none of the materials that I've received have a meeting passcode on them. So how can I join the meeting via Zoom?
Well, you are on. Go ahead.
You're in the meeting right now, caller?
Well, I'm in the meeting only through my phone, but I was joining through Zoom and it requires a passcode for that particular meeting
Yeah,
ID.
there's no publishing of any Zoom information. It's only a call-in number at this point. If you'd like to watch it, you can watch it on the YouTube channel.
Okay. All right. I thought when it had a meeting ID that it was a Zoom. I had this listed as a Zoom meeting, so it's not, you're saying. Okay. All right.
Did you have a comment, caller?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Any other callers that would like to speak, please press *9 on your keypad. Okay, seeing no other callers at this time, Mr. Cowell.
Okay, seeing no other callers, we'll close public comment. And again, new folks that are out there will kind of get the chat during a different part of this meeting. Next item is item number 6, the consent agenda. It's revenue expenses, check disbursements, list of bills, department reports, police, fire, community development, and treasurer. I am looking for a motion on this particular item, item 6. Do I have a motion from the floor?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I
Supervisor
have
Cole.
I have a motion from Clerk Noble to approve the consent agenda. I have support by Treasurer Mike Roman. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Cole,
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Treasurer Roman,
Yes.
Trustee Ruggles,
Yes.
Trustee Smith, Trustee Smith,
I'm not sure if she's in here right
We
now.
lost her.
Yeah.
It's all right. Move on. She'll
Trustee
join.
Voorhees,
Yes.
and Trustee Powell's still absent.
Motion still carries. Thank you. Item 7, minutes. Approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting of December 15th. Any comments or questions on those minutes? Mr. Ruggles?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from December 15th, 2020.
Okay, I have a motion. Looking for support.
Support.
I have support from Mike Roman. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Kowal,
Yes.
Treasurer Roman,
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Trustee Ruggles,
Yes.
Trustee Smith, Trustee Voorhees,
Yes.
We good?
we're
Okay.
good.
Liz seems to have a technical difficulty right now. I'm sure she'll join us again. Okay, item number 8, public hearings for resolutions. Our first public hearing is the establishment of the North Holbert Sewer Main Special Assessment District. And what this will do is this will actually establish the district.
Mhm.
Janine, do you have anything you want to add to that? She's muted at the moment. There we go. Janine, anything you want to add to that?
I'm trying to use 2 computers so I can look at the agenda at the same time. Okay, so I don't have anything to add unless you have questions. This is a pretty small district and it's a pretty
Mhm.
simple one. It
Correct.
just goes down one street. I don't know if we've got anybody in the public for this particular one.
I will open the public hearing in a moment.
Okay,
So-
I don't have anything to add unless you have questions.
Okay, and at this moment in time, I am opening the public hearing to establishment of the North Holbert Sewer Main Special Assessment District. I'm making that in the form of a motion, looking for support.
Support.
I have support from Mike Roman. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Smith, Trustee Smith, Clerk Noble, yes. Trustee Voorhees,
Yes.
Trustee Powell, absent. Treasurer Roman,
Yes.
Trustee Ruggles,
Yes.
Supervisor Kowal,
Yes. We are now in public hearing. At this particular time, again, folks, if you have something in regards to the establishment of the North Holbert Sewer Main Special Assessment District, please raise your hand at this time. Again, the North Holbert Sewer Main Special Assessment District. If you have something you want to state, please raise your hand. Ken?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Cowell. And again, if you'd like to raise your hand, you press *9 on your keypad. That will alert us that you would like to speak on this topic. Again, *9 on your keypad. I don't see any hands raised at this time. We do have a call coming in right now. If you could, Mr. Cowell, we have a
Yes.
late call that just is coming in right now. If you want to restate
Well,
what this open call is for.
We are in the public hearing of the establishment of the North Holbert Sewer Main Special Assessment District only. At this time, if you have something that you want to comment to the establishment of the North Holbert Sewer Main Special Assessment District, now is your opportunity. Other subject matter will be covered further in the agenda.
Thank you. And again, if you would like to raise your hand to make a comment on this topic, please press *9. Okay. Seeing no hands raised at this time, Mr. Cowell?
Seeing no hands, I am making a motion to close the public hearing, looking for support.
Andrea will support.
I have
Go ahead,
support from Andrea Voorhees. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Kowal,
Yes.
Trustee Smith, Clerk Noble, yes. Trustee Voorhees,
Yes.
Treasurer Roman,
Yes.
Trustee Ruggles,
Yes.
Trustee Powell is absent.
Motion carries. Item A1, resolution number 21-001, determining sufficiency of petitions and necessity of improvements and designating a special assessment district for the North Holbert sewer main. Any discussion from the board members? Seeing none, would like to entertain a motion. Mr. Ruggles.
Supervisor, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 21-001.
We have a motion to approve resolution 21-001, determining sufficiency of petitions and necessity of improvements and designating a special assessment district for the North Holbert sewer main. Looking for support?
Andrea will support that.
I have support from Andrea Voorhees. Roll call vote, Mr. Clerk.
Trustee Smith.
Yes.
Oh, you're back. Great.
Sorry, I don't know where I went. I just,
It happens.
I was gone. It booted me out. I apologize. I got back on as fast as I could.
Oh, no worries. Trustee Smith, yes. Clerk Noble, yes. Trustee Voorhees,
Yes.
Trustee Powell, absent. Trustee Roman,
Yes.
Treasurer Roman, sir. Trustee Ruggles,
Yes.
Supervisor Kowal.
Yes. You got demoted, Mike. So.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Motion carries. Item 8B. We will now enter into a public hearing for the establishment of Oak Ridge Park Sanitary Sewer Main Special Assessment District. Again, this will be a public hearing for the establishment of Oak Ridge Park Sanitary Sewer Main Special Assessment District. With that being said, I would like to make a motion to open the public hearing. Looking for support.
Support.
I have support from Mike Roman. Roll call vote, please.
Sorry. Support. Trustee, Supervisor Kowal,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Trustee Voorhees,
Yes.
Treasurer Roman,
Yes.
Trustee Ruggles,
Yes.
Trustee Powell's absent.
Very good. We are now in a public hearing for the establishment of the Oak Ridge Park Sanitary Sewer Main. Ken?
Thank you, Mr. Kowal. Any callers that would like to speak on this topic, please press *9 on your keypad. Again, if you'd like to speak on this specific topic, please press *9 on your keypad.
And again, this is the Oak Ridge Sanitary Sewer Main Special Assessment District.
We do have a hand up, Ken.
Yep, I see it. We have a caller here, caller user 1. You're using caller ID block, so I'm going to send you a command in your earpiece. When you hear this, please press *6 on your keypad. Go ahead, caller. Please state your name and address for the record.
Yes, this is Leslie Ann Burleson. Address is 1465 Langfield Avenue in White Lake, 48386. Go
ahead, caller.
Okay, the question we have is, so how much exactly is this going to cost us? And are we going to have to pay any more if we want city water coming through?
First of all, dear, this is public comment. This is not question and answer. So if you have questions, I would direct those questions to our DPS director, Mr. Aaron Potter, and he will be happy to assist you in any way that he can. And this is strictly referring to only and only at this time the sewer main extension. That's it.
Okay. I understand from the letter we received, it's going to be coming down Langfield and Bathgate. Langfield and Hillway.
That is correct.
So we had never received anything about signing anything, if we want it or if we don't want it. And
basically, there's a lot of people around here that really do not want this because the cost is just too high. Not only is it assessing an extra $10,000 onto something just for the privilege of having a sewer pipe come down the street, a lot of people around here are older and they can't afford that. So we cannot opt out of it. I understand that a lot of the lakefront people want it because that would raise their property values quite a bit. The backlot people can't afford this. How are we going to be able to pay for this? Period.
What I will say, I really, again, this is really public comment. These are things you need to address. Lisa, I see you waving your hand.
Yeah, this, just to be clear for the members of the public, the purpose of this hearing is to hear objections regarding the establishment of this district. So it's a little bit different than public comment at the beginning of the meeting. This is specific to this special assessment district, and this is the only opportunity for the residents to voice their objections. And if they don't, then if they don't voice their objections, then they will not have an opportunity to take this to the tax tribunal if at some point in the future they choose to do that. I also wanted to explain for the benefit of the caller on right now is that this is the meeting, the establishment of this district came to the township board by petition of at least 50% of the residents within the district. They brought it to the township board asking that the township board establish this district, and the township board is now considering whether to establish it. The dollars that you asked about at the beginning, that won't be decided until an estimate is obtained and the township has solid numbers to share with you, at which point you will then have an opportunity to object at the next public hearing on this topic, which would be a resolution to confirm the role. And that's the part where the numbers are assessed, the dollar amounts are assessed and established.
Thank you, Lisa.
Is there a list of residents who have objected, who want this and who do not want this on file?
If you want to find that,
and if so, can we see that?
If you want that information, it is available in the assessing office. You would need to come in and ask for that, but it is available. It's public information.
Okay. But
All right.
like I said, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for calling. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Okay, again, one last call to anyone that would like to speak on this specific topic. You need to press *9 on your keypad.
The Oak Ridge Park Sanitary Sewer Main Special Assessment District.
I'm seeing no other callers with their hands raised at this time, Mr. Kowal.
Seeing none, I'm making a motion to close public hearing. Looking for support. Support from Scott Ruggles. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Kowal.
Yes.
I'd like to bring to your attention's correspondence from 13644 Buno Road, Milford, Michigan. And I'd emailed the rest of the board and put hard copies into their mailboxes. The person hand wrote this letter. It's owners of 12-34-354-019 and parcel ID 12-34-354-020. It's from a Richard and I believe Deborah Foster. They state they have no interest in city sewer. Please mark both parcels as a no. And I wanted to bring that to the board's attention. That was written on 1/9/20.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk, for doing that. I appreciate that. Okay, we started going down there. I had a motion. I had support from Mr. Ruggles and looking for a roll call vote to close public hearing.
Supervisor Kowal.
Yes.
Trustee Smith.
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Trustee Voorhees,
Yes.
Treasurer Roman,
Yes.
Trustee Ruggles,
Yes.
and Trustee Powell is absent.
Motion carries. Next item is B1, Resolution 21-002, determining sufficiency of petitions and necessity of improvements and designating a special assessment district. I am looking for a motion. Mr. Ruggles.
I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
I was looking in here and I don't remember, and for some reason I can't see it. Janine, what was the percentage of residents that were in favor of this sewer? Do you have that with you? The caller might still be listening. She might like to hear that if that's something you have handy. I think you're muted.
You're muted, Janine.
Oak Ridge had 63%.
63%.
Uh-huh.
All right, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Okay. I return to that. I propose the resolution, looking for a motion. Mr. Roman.
Motion to approve resolution 21-002, determining sufficiency of petitions and necessity of improvements and designating the special assessment district for the Oak Ridge sewer.
I have a motion, looking for support.
Andrea will support.
I have a support from Andrea Voorhees. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Kowal,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Trustee Voorhees,
Yes.
Treasurer Roman,
Yes.
Trustee Ruggles,
Yes.
Trustee Powell is absent.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next item on our agenda is the item 8C, public hearing, establishment of the Twin Lakes Village Road Paving Special Assessment District. It is a motion to approve the district. It is a public hearing at this time. And at this time, I will make a motion to open the public hearing for the establishment of the Twin Lakes Village Road Paving Special Assessment District. And I'm looking for support.
Support.
I have support from Mike Roman, treasurer. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Trustee Ruggles,
Yes.
Supervisor Kowal,
Yes.
Trustee Powell is absent. Treasurer Roman,
Yes.
Trustee Voorhees,
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes.
We are now in public hearing. And again, this is a public hearing for the establishment of the Twin Lakes Village Road Paving Special Assessment District. This is the public hearing. At this time, if you have something that you would like to say regarding this particular subject matter of the Twin Lakes Village Road Paving Special Assessment District, you may do so. Ken?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Kowal. And again, if you would like to speak on this specific topic, please press *9 on your keypad, and that will raise your hand, and we will take the question or the comments in the order that we receive them. Again, that command is *9. We do have a hand raised here, Mr. Kowal. The caller with the last 4 digits, 2474, please press *6 on your keypad and state your name and address for the record. Go ahead, caller.
Good evening. This is Thomas Clark, 8849 Scenic Bluff Lane in White Lake. My only objection is to the way the Twin Lakes Board went about passing around the petition for this special assessment. This is actually a dual vote on our part. We did have several meetings. Several options were presented to us as residents on to the degree of the road repairs that are to be done, everything from nothing until full replacement. I talked to several of my neighbors, and I would say 9 out of 10 did not realize a yes vote for this petition for the Special Assessment District was indeed a yes vote to repair the roads. And those are my comments.
Thank you.
Okay, one last call for this specific topic. If you'd like to speak on it, please press *9. We do have a couple more callers here. Caller with the last 4 digits, 6193. Please press *6 on your keypad and state your name and address for the record. Go ahead, caller.
Okay, my name is Jim Kushnerite. I'm from 410 Berry Patch Lane in White Lake, 48386. I know Mike's aware that I'm on this call to answer any questions. I just wanted to talk about what Thomas just said, because I'm the one that was in charge of presenting this. We were very opaque. I mean, we really shared all the information with them, how it was to be done. We did tell them initially when we met back at the first time at the beach that there was 3 options. We could do nothing, we could just repair the roads, or we could replace them. And then when this went around, it was, hey, if you want to replace them, this is what we'll do. If this doesn't go through, then we'll look at the other option. So that was the way that it was presented. I can stand by here if anybody else has questions that they want to ask me about this, or if any other residents come on that you would want me to address, I will do that. But I just wanted to address what Thomas had said.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Go on, Ken.
Yep, we have a few more callers here. Caller with the last 4 digits, 5600. Please press *6 on your keypad and state your name and address for the record. Go ahead, caller.
Matthew Kobliska, 280 View Drive. I'm in support of this. I think before the roads deteriorate any further, I think we have to take our medicine now. I think it's important for resale values and the general quality of life in the neighborhood that this proceed. And I really commend the people on behalf of the Village Association in doing the hard work that they did to investigate this and move this plan forward. There are, I'm sure, a lot of man hours and woman hours involved.
Thank you.
Okay, next caller, last 4 digits, 2474. Please press *6 on your keypad. Go ahead, caller. And state your name and address for the record.
Thomas Clark again, 8849 Scenic Bluff Lane, White Lake. Jim is correct in that he did give us all the information. My only concern, and Jim, you did bring this up when you and I talked, that you had one canvasser who did not mention that the petition was to replace the roads, and I believe you went back and corrected that. I'm just stating my view that 9 out of 10 of the people where I live did not realize that this was a vote to replace the roads. That's all. And I'm not knocking the board for putting in the work that they're doing. I just think that it could be a little more transparent on us actually getting together and in a clear-cut manner that's written down saying what option we want to do. That's all. Thank you.
And we have one last caller, it looks like here. Caller with the last 4 digits, 6560. Please press *6 on your keypad. And again, state your name and address for the record. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, thank you for letting me speak. My name is Susan Singer. I live at 8797 River Run Drive. I do agree that the problem with this is how it was handled within our subdivision, and that not everybody knew what was going on. The canvasser who did come to our home clearly said that this was not a final vote for replacing the roads, that it was just to see if the township would even consider it. He was wrong. He did admit to being wrong, but we understand that many people that signed that petition did it under, the wrong understanding. Also, the very first petition to even see if this should go to the township was only taken to a very select few. Our entire street was disregarded from this initial survey. And yet we are still expected to pay large sums of money, but have had really no say in it. And that initial vote of repairing, replacing, or do nothing literally never happened. So, yes, I appreciate the work that the board has done, but there has been so many mistakes, misinformation. There are so many people upset over this during this pandemic, a meeting at a beach when we should not have been gathering like that, totally inappropriate. They put off all of their important other business. So we feel this could have waited till we could have actually discussed this clearly. And so I hope that we can postpone this until we have that opportunity. Thank you.
Okay. We have a repeat caller here, Mr. Kowal. How would you like me to handle that?
I don't have necessarily a problem with that.
Okay. Caller with the last 4 digits, 6560. Please state your name and address for the record. Go ahead, caller. Caller 6560, would you like to make a comment?
That is Susan Singer, and I believe I've already made my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that appears to be the last hand raised at this time, Mr. Supervisor.
Okay.
Nope, we just had one come in. Caller with the last 4 digits, 2474. Please press *6 on your keypad. Go ahead and state your name and address for the record, caller.
Yes, once again, this is Thomas Clark, 8849 Scenic Bluff Lane. I would like to mention also that although there are parts of our subdivision in the condo area that may need replacement or repair, much of the roads, from what my neighbors see and what I drive on, certainly do not need to be repaired. Now, I can't talk about the underlying layer, but I think in these times with the pandemic and everything, maybe it may be better, as Susan mentioned, to have a more forthright and maybe a clearer understanding of what we're voting for. Thank you.
Okay. Caller with the last 4 digits, 2474. Please
Nope,
press
that was
*6.
me. I'm done.
Yep, thank you. Where are we here? Caller with the last 4 digits, 4775. Please press *6 on your keypad and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Steve Schultz. I'm at 8928 Twin Lakes Drive in White Lake. I'd just like to echo some of the earlier comments about the method in which the vote was taken. It was confusing. The initial gentleman that came by our house clearly did not state what the true intention of the vote was. I attended that initial meeting by the lake, and the amount of skepticism mentioned at that meeting does not match the vote total that we have been told. In my mind, there's a disconnect here between how people are really feeling and the vote that was taken. Thank you.
Okay. That appears to be the last hand raised at this time, Mr. Kowal.
Okay, very good. We will now suspend the phone calls, and I will read a few of the a few people that sent notes in. One, there was a letter from Susan Singer, who did request to have this read, but of course she has now had their verbal comment into the record in her opposition of that particular of this particular item. And the other one is a Kenneth Kramer, a resident of the Twin Lakes subdivision. He was in objection to the Twin Lakes road paving special assessment. I'm not sure if any of the other board members have received anything or not.
Supervisor Kowal.
Yes.
I also sent the board those two correspondence. I also sent two additional ones. I'm sorry. Yeah, Mr. Kramer, and then I also have the singers and also a Rajako Klukovic who resides at 8737 River Run Drive. I did forward those correspondence to the board along with hard copies.
Very good. Thank you.
Mr. Supervisor, I also received an objection from Patrick Smith. And then received an objection as well from Kenneth Kramer as we spoke, the singers, Thomas Clark, which I believe we have already talked to, and to Matt Leeson. I'm not going to pronounce that correctly. It's Matlesen. And I believe that's it at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Smith.
Mr. Coel, Supervisor Coel.
Yes.
If everybody could make sure that the clerk has all the names and addresses of the objections so that they make it into the resolution, there's an exhibit that lists all of the objectors.
Mm-hmm. I did forward to Clerk Noble, and I'll double check and make sure that he has all of those on record.
Thank you.
Real quick, Rick, Supervisor Coel, real quick, the one that is from, I believe the Kramers has exhibits, and that's the one that has 3 exhibits marked exhibit 1, 2, and 3, as you can see in your emails. And that's going to be the most lengthy into the record, which I did forward, and that will be in the record, sir.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay. And just for clarification, you did receive exhibit 2, Clerk Noble, right? Because it didn't come through the first time, and then I requested and it came through.
Yes, correct.
Okay, email to you.
Yeah, I have it right here. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. And then also, as we close, we need to welcome Trustee Powell into the meeting.
Thank you.
Hello, jet lag.
Jet lag is right.
Thank you for joining us, Michael, and I appreciate that in your time of travel there. At this time, there are no further letters to read that I have or any other members currently have. We would still welcome any comments to come in, and we thank you for commenting on this. At this time, I would like to make a motion to close the public comment. Looking for support.
Support.
I have support from Trustee Michael Powell. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Ruddles?
Yes.
Supervisor Coel?
Yes.
Trustee Powell?
Yes.
Treasurer Roman?
Yes.
Trustee Voorhees?
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes.
Very good. I want to admit to the board that I misorganized my packet here with the addition of the IAFF tentative agreement. We will now address that. That was actually item 9. That was the International Association of Firefighters tentative agreement. Kathy, are you still there? Kathy DeRocher? There she is.
There we go.
Hi. See, that's what happens when you add things on. They get shuffled about. So, Kathy, would you care to enlighten the board, please?
Yes, the career firefighters have settled their tentative agreement with the being represented by the IAFF, the International Association. They agreed to a 2.5% increase, which mirrors the other tentative agreements that have already been settled. Right now, the only group that we need to settle for the current year is the paid on call group. So we hope to address them next month. In that agreement, the majority of the issues were administrative, with the exception, of course, of the 2.5 increase and the fire marshal wage review. So overall, we're very pleased. We hope to address additional issues in the summer when we go back to the bargaining table.
Thank you. Again, I appreciate that. I'm sorry about the mix up on the order. That should have been item 9 instead. And I went past my own note here. So yes, Mr. Roman.
Rick, we never finished up 8C. Did I miss something?
I was just gonna say that. We didn't vote on the resolution.
Yep,
beg
I
your
was
pardon.
waiting to interrupt again also.
I beg your pardon. I've got so many notes here and so many different things here. I totally beg your pardon. And that was my fault, my miscommunication here. I've got to straighten my stuff out here. Too many changes. Okay.
No problem.
Kathy, hold that position and we'll get right back to you. And you gave us that information. Okay. So, okay, I beg the board's indulgence here. That would be resolution 21-003, determining sufficiency of petitions and necessity of improvements and designating a special assessment district. Anyone care to make a motion on that or comment? Mr. Roman.
Well, listening to the comments that were all made, I just want to say, you know, I don't know how many times I've been told, don't ever sign a legal document before you read it. The petition is pretty clear. I'm not sure if everyone has it, so I'm going to go ahead and take the liberty to read the petition that was signed. It says, we, the undersigned, being property owners in Twin Lakes Village Site Condominium in White Lake Township, Oakland County, Michigan, petition the White Lake Township Board of Trustees for the establishment of a special assessment district for paving the private roads that are maintained by their association. The property owners below desire to create a special assessment district for the purpose of paving said roads. The cost is estimated to be approximately $1,898,242.76, including costs and township administration fees, with payments beginning in December 2021. The per parcel cost is estimated to be $13,183. I find that very clear. We've got a majority of residents there that did sign this. But that said, I have a question for Jim. Jim, hopefully you're still here because you're kind of running the show over there for this group. It's one thing to hand a petition to someone and put the onus on them to read it, but it's another if they're misled. And I just want your thought. If you think people were misled, then I want your opinion as to whether or not you think we should go back and do the petition again.
Doesn't appear to be there.
Yeah,
I see a hand up.
Yep. Yeah. Caller with the last 4, 6193. Go ahead.
Okay, this is Jim Cush back on. So to answer your question, Mike, do I think they were misled? I honestly don't. We were so straightforward with this. We put out printed literature a number of times that was delivered to each and every residence. We stand pat to answer any questions that they had as we went through this process. I don't know what could have been done differently, honestly. To be more clear, we did have one incident where one of the petitioners on River Run, he lived there. He went around. He did miscommunicate that we were just going forward with a SAD and it wasn't a final vote on redoing the roads or not. I asked every other petitioner and they said, no, absolutely. It was described that it was a final vote to go ahead with the roads. So when I found that out on a Friday, I called every petitioner the next Saturday. I went personally myself to each person who had voted yes by that petitioner, explained it to them that it was a vote to go forward with the roads. Every single one except one thought it was initially a vote for yes to go forward with the roads anyway. And the one who didn't understand it that way said, yeah, they're for it anyway. But we took it upon ourselves. So I think it was explained to everybody. I don't think it could have been much clearer. Any other particular questions, I'm happy to answer for you.
Thanks, Jim.
That it?
That's all I had.
Okay.
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 All right,
I'm
very
still
good.
here if anything else comes up. So.
All right.
Ready?
Any other comments from the board?
Trustee Smith. I don't know if you can see me.
Yep. Yes, I do, Liz. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. I just want to thank Treasurer Roman for reading that language into the record and explaining that to our residents. And I just wanted to follow up by saying that verbiage is on top of every single signature page. So I just wanted to clarify that for our residents as well. That is not just in like a front of the packet. It's on every single page, that sign. So thank you for reading that.
Yep.
Mr. Supervisor,
Yes.
this is Mike.
Yes, Mike.
All right, I also wanted to point out that this is just establishing the special assessment district. There will be one more public hearing in which people need to come and make their objection or support known to the board. But at this particular point, we're not voting to spend any person's money. It's
Correct.
just establishing the district.
Yeah, we're just establishing the district. There is still time for opposition.
Correct.
Thank you, Mr. Powell.
Mr.
Any other-
Supervisor?
Yes.
Yeah, there was a hand raised after it appears Jim's comment.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to know how you'd like to handle that.
Go ahead and let him in.
Okay. Caller with the last four digits 8021. Please press *6 on your keypad and state your name and address for the record. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, my name's Scott Trozen, 8749 River Run Drive. I just want to respond to what he said. He sent numerous letters to us. I'd received nothing. I was told by my neighbors about this, coming in to this special assessment to the board. I received no extra, besides the canvasser that came by, I received nothing saying what prices we're going to be going through, or I just want to confirm that because I think that's a little misleading if he said he sent out letters to everybody. I got a letter saying, we got the three options, and that's the last I heard of it. I never heard they were even going to do this until it went further.
Very good. Thank you for your comment. Okay. We could go back and forth on that, I imagine, to some degree, but again, we are just establishing a district here. We are looking for a motion at this particular time for resolution 21-003, determining sufficiency of petitions, necessity of improvements, and designate a special assessment district. I am looking for a motion. Mr. Roman.
Yeah, before I make the motion, Rick, I have a question for our council. Lisa, as far as getting a promissory note from the HOA, do I make the motion subject to that? Or do I just leave the promissory note out of the motion?
Well, right now you're establishing the SAD.
Just the district, correct?
Yes. And the next resolution, the next stage would be assessing the, confirming the role, which would be the assessments for all the property. That's when you'll want to make sure that you have a contribution agreement in place, which is intended to, my understanding is to subsidize those assessments a certain percentage.
Okay, so I'll leave it out of this motion.
Yes, but just so that it's clear, you're not removing anything from this district?
I am removing parcels that do not benefit from the SAD. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I guess I just wonder if you should maybe articulate those before you make the motion, so there could be discussion, or I guess there could be discussion during a motion. But I know that you might want to research a couple of those that you and I talked about. So I didn't know what your intention was, whether you were going to remove all 14 or.
I believe it's 12. Correct?
I've actually got them up to 13.
Okay.
But I know that there are some you might want to talk to the assessor and talk about. I know there's some where it's not definitive that there's no benefit. And so if you remove them now, you can't add them. But if you leave them in and remove them at a later date, that's not a problem.
You're saying if I leave them in, I can remove them at a later date?
Yes, you just can't add.
Gotcha. So if I remove at a later date, we'd have to remove them before we confirm the roll? Okay. Okay, so to my fellow board members, there are 12 parcels that absolutely do not benefit from this SAD.
Right.
And we want to remove those from the district. I've got 2 others that are in question that may have contributed to public road improvements, but that these other 2 lots also touch the roads that are going to be improved. They're kind of corner lots. So at this point in time, I'll leave those in the district and remove the 12 others. So I will make a motion to approve resolution 21-003 for the Twin Lakes road assessment. And I will remove the following parcels from the district: 12-23-280-001, 12-23-280-002, 12-23-280-003, 12-24-155-001, 12-24-155-002, 12-24-155-003, 12-24-155-004, 12-24-303-001, 12-24-303-002, 12-24-303-003, 12-24-303-004, and 12-24-303-005.
Okay, I'll take that as a motion.
Yes, sir.
Looking for support.
Support.
I have support from Clerk Noble. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Trustee Ruggles,
Yes.
Supervisor Kowal,
Yes.
Trustee Powell,
Yes.
Treasurer Roman,
Yes.
Trustee Voorhees,
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Now let's try this again. Item number 9. Okay. The IAFF tentative agreement. And as you had said, Kathy, things are rolling along with that. Again, I apologize.
It's okay.
So any other further conversation on the agreement, folks? It's an extension, 2.5%. Any questions from the board? Seeing none, I would like to make a motion to approve the tentative agreement with the IAFF Local 5295 tentative agreement dated January 7th, 2021. And that is in the form of a motion. Looking for support.
Support.
I have support from Trustee Smith. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Kowal,
Yes.
Treasurer Roman,
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Treasurer Ruggles,
Yes.
I'm sorry, Trustee Ruggles, Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Trustee Voorhees,
Yes.
Trustee Powell.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you very much, everyone, for that. Kathy, great work, and appreciate everything that you're doing in HR. So I certainly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll get the heater put in your office tomorrow, so it won't be so cold. Did you see it? Did you see the heater? I don't know if you saw it or not. Anyways,
I
this
did.
old building is so drafty. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, next item will be 9A, the request by Russell Beach Association for the township to participate partially in expenditure for a traffic barrier on Cascade Street. I'm sure, as all of you know, that there was a group that came to the township some time ago and had asked to get our blessing to allow them to pursue this avenue. The group has gotten together, and in your packet, there's quite a bit of information. There's traffic data, there's petition. I mean, it's all there. And seeing as that this was something that we felt at the time that we would allow, the board did more or less agree to let it go forward to the extent of that it did. And now that it's gone to Commerce and has been tentatively approved by Commerce, of which they will have an expenditure from their funds of approximately 5,000. We would have an expenditure from White Lake of approximately 5,000, and the road commission would be picking up the difference, is my understanding of it. I would cap our expenditure at $5,000. Now, some persons may look at this and say, how does this benefit the township as a whole? Well, we've done other projects. We did the Bogey Lake Road project that we did at Sugden, and was an improvement as a whole to the township and the persons that use Bogey Lake Road, as well as the Cedar Island cooperative project with the road commission, which we are all minimal costs to the township, but a large cost of payback for improvement to the what I'll call the general public or anyone who uses those roads. In this particular area of the township, we've seen an unprecedented amount of growth in the traffic in the Union Lake corridor, which I know is one of Mike Powell's favorite places. And it is continuing to grow, and we will see a continuance of growth. And unfortunately, we had an experience last summer while they were doing repair work on Cooley Lake Road that we had an absorbent amount of traffic decide to use this particular area as a freeway. And it caused no end of concern for a lot of folks there, because you have a very narrow residential street, and you have, somebody's got their microphone on and noise in the background. Okay. So you have a very narrow street and very dense housing, and you have a certain percentage of those homes that are White Lake residents and a percentage of those homes that are Commerce residents. And you also have, to add to the equation, you have a small park there. And I've seen children darting in and out of there in a number of places. Not to mention that our chief, Dan Keller, I'd asked his opinion on this, and he was in favor of doing this because it would save him some time from having to send people down there trying to monitor the situation. So with this particular item in place, it would hopefully prevent people from doing a cut through to the west down Cascade. Myself, I am in support of this particular project, and I believe it adds to a quality of life to our residents in our community as a whole. Sometimes it's only a street that we achieve. Sometimes it's a couple of streets. If we can prevent people from going down that particular street, we are likely to see a safer neighborhood. There's also going to ultimately be further development in that particular area, and probably addition of some residential units, 1 or 2 residential units potentially in that area that could add additional traffic to there. So that being said, any questions from the board? Mr. Ruggles?
Yeah, I'd just like to agree with the statements you made, Mr. Supervisor. I'm very much in favor of this. I've got the letters from the homeowners on the street. I read those. A lot of families with children, and there's not a whole lot that's scarier than seeing, a car fly by at 55 miles an hour when your 3 kids are outside. So I couldn't be more in favor of spending $5,000 to support this. I couldn't think of a better way to spend it, actually. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ruggles. Mr. Powell?
Yes, well, I totally agree with this project, without a doubt. My biggest problem, and I wanted to point out to the board, that this is setting an extremely slippery slope for the township in that these are private roads. So you're taking public funds to give to a private road for improvement. The Twin Lakes Subdivision Association could have very easily come to us and said, listen, our roads are so terrible, you need to provide us $5,000 towards this to help us as well. The project, without a doubt, needs to be done. But I would be in major favor of this board establishing a special assessment district to let those people that own that road, White Lake doesn't own it, we don't have any say over it, let those people that own that road pay for the improvement that they are looking to do. We have cut-throughs all over the township. We have subdivision cut-throughs from one road to the other, and they can make the exact same case that this subdivision's making. And so I absolutely believe that the people north of 59 should not be paying for the improvements of this private road. That being said, also, it's a fallacy to think that it's a $5,000 contribution, because it's going to be part of a tri-party program, which means our $5,000 is representing $5,000 from the road commission and $5,000 from the general government. So we are removing $15,000 from our general population to be able to improve the roads in White Lake Township, not on a private road. So although I favor this project, absolutely, and give it all the support I can, I cannot agree to spending $15,000 of White Lake Township road funds towards a private road project. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor.
Thank you.
Supervisor.
Yes, Mr. Ruggles.
I'd just like to say, Mike, we're also tasked with the responsibility of looking out for the safety, health, and welfare of the residents. And this, you could say that this is a pretty big time safety issue, not to mention the development that this board has allowed to happen has compounded the problem, exponentially. So those two things weigh into my opinion. Thanks.
Mr. Noble.
Mr. Supervisor, I'm going to concur with Trustee Ruggles' comments on that. I had the opportunity to sit there in the parking lot. There's a commercial building and observe the traffic flow through there. Coming from a public safety standpoint, 26 years enforcing traffic laws, I agree with that. 5,000 of our contribution for safety. Having the police go down there, I bet you if we added the man hours during that time, we would come close to that $5,000. So the way I feel, we're going to alleviate the police department's patrol down there. We're going to solve that issue for $5,000. I think it's a good value.
Very good. Any other comments? Trustee Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. When I started to receive information on this agenda item a couple months ago, my first call were to Chief Keller and Deputy Chief Holland to get their opinion and input. And I was very satisfied with our conversation that this is a necessity out of safety. And I also wanted to make sure that their emergency vehicle, they felt comfortable with their emergency vehicles being able to access the road. So for safety standpoint, I'm all for it. I have two quick questions. Mr. Powell, did you misspeak when you said $15,000 of White Lake Township County, and then you said something else which I didn't catch? And shouldn't it be Commerce Township is our third partner? What did you say was the three?
No, the way the tri-party fund works, 1/3 comes from the local community, 1/3 comes from the road commission, 1/3
Right.
comes from the general county government.
Okay,
So,
that's what I missed, and I just didn't hear what you said.
I'm
The
sorry,
general
yes.
county.
Correct.
Okay, so then my second question is to council. Lisa, Mr. Powell brings up a valid point of setting a slippery slope precedent. So I think we all can agree on safety here and would like to see this happen for safety reasons. Legally, is there any guidance that you can give us that would not set us in a predicament of an unpleasant precedent being set?
So I have a two-part answer.
Okay.
I did not realize that this sign would be in Commerce Township.
The barrier and the structure actually sits in Commerce Township.
I have not researched whether this expenditure would be lawful for White Lake. And so I would ask that if it were a motion to go forward, that you condition approval on my researching the township's legal ability to contribute these funds towards an improvement in Commerce Township. The second part of your question is more what is actually also, because it's a private road, townships are not allowed to contribute. Like if this were a road repair, you would not be able to contribute that money. This is a sign. I think I would want to research whether that would be comparable to the road repair since it's a private road. So from a precedent-setting standpoint, absolutely he's correct. I'm talking just the legal standpoint.
Okay, so I think everybody's on the same page for safety purposes. Would my colleagues join me in tabling this till next month so that we would be able to have some guidance from our legal counsel?
I'm not opposed to it. Obviously, we all, I believe all of us agree that it's a safety issue.
Right.
It's just a question of whether we can actually legally spend that money in a adjoining township. Now, mind you, again, it affects our residents. It just happens to be where this is in a very peculiar location.
Right.
And in that particular Union Lake corridor, which Mike Powell is so fond of. So, and that's why this is such a unique location. I'm not opposed to tabling it at this point in time, as long as we find out that this can be a illegal expenditure, because what good is it for us to promise these folks that we'll do something if indeed we find out through the process that we're not allowed by law to contribute to it because it is in an adjacent, physically in an adjacent community. Counselor?
Right.
I'm sorry, I reviewed this agenda item before the meeting. I just didn't register with me that it's actually
you froze on us.
e-commerce. Oh.
We heard in commerce. So, so would my colleagues entertain and join me in just tabling it till February meeting so that Lisa has a chance to research it?
I'd like to speak first.
I would too.
Mr. Roman? Mr. Roman?
All right, first of all, it is my understanding that Cascade is a public road, not a private road. Can anyone else comment on that?
I have a comment, Mike, for Lisa. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Lisa?
Yes.
With adjacent borders such as White Lake and Commerce, there's called a rod rule that we use legally, that you can, like being a police officer, you could go so far, I think it's 7 rods into that jurisdiction. So wouldn't that be applicable to that, us being able to coexist, help out, however you want to term that, being as we have a responsibility, I believe, going into that 7 rod, which is going to be probably, I'm going to say about 150 feet, maybe.
Yeah, I wish I could answer your question, Clerk Noble, right now. Unfortunately, when I reviewed this agenda item, I did not realize that we were talking about a private road in Commerce. I will definitely look at the rod rule. I can't answer it today.
Thank you.
If I can finish, Rick.
Yes, Mr. Roman.
I agree with Scott and Anthony and I think Liz that this isn't a road improvement. I wouldn't support it if it was fixing the road so much. This is more of a public safety issue to me as well. And that traffic is coming into the township. So rather than table it, this thing's been going on for years.
20 years.
Yeah, my thought process is approve it subject to it being a legal expenditure.
Mr.
I would
O'Neill.
second that motion.
Okay, well, 1 second. Mr. O'Neill, do you have something to add?
I did. Mr. Roman had a question, and I just checked the street index map, and it is indeed a public road. It's listed on our street index map as a.
That's what I thought it was, a public road. Yeah, it's not a private road.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it kind of threw me off guard. I thought it, because when we had conversations with the road commission, they acknowledged it as one of their roads. So, but nonetheless, Lisa's point is a very valid point. But I agree with Mr. Roman, and I would like to proceed on Mr. Roman's direction.
I think we all agree it's safety.
Yeah.
Mr. Roman, everybody agrees this is a safety issue. I just was looking for council's direction if it set a precedent in any way or put us in a predicament of spending funds that we
Well,
wouldn't
I believe
have spent.
as we have participated in other public improvement or public safety projects.
Right, I understand.
On a sharp curve on Bogey Lake Road where you have gravel strewn on a brand new asphalt road, the board took it upon itself to go into a partnership with the county, and we improved that as a full public safety. These are public safety measures. So
agree.
Mr. Roman, yes, Lisa.
Well, Rick, there's a number of hands up.
Yeah.
I just wanted to respond to Liz very quickly. Trustee Smith, my concerns about precedent was with that as a private road.
Right.
Now that it's a public road, I'm no longer concerned about that. So the only aspect is the whole Commerce White Lake aspect, which I believe will not be a problem because of the proximity and for all the reasons that Rick articulated on the record. But I just want to do just that double check, and I can do that tomorrow very quickly.
And thank you. I understand, and I thank you, Mr. O'Neill, for clarifying, because that does make a big difference. So thank you.
Well, we do have a few people out there that would like to probably say something, although I think the folks that have their hands up, you may get a general gist that the board is in favor of this. But obviously we need to make sure that there is legal expenditure involved here. But at this time, Ken, I will let you we'll have a little public comment on this.
Is it required to open the call to the public, or?
No, this is not a public hearing, but we will just have some public comment on the hands that are in place right now.
Okay, absolutely. Okay, callers, if you would like to speak on this topic, again, reminder, please press *9 on your keypad, and that will raise your hand, and we will take the calls in the order that we receive them. Again, press *9 on your keypad. Okay, we're going to start out with the first caller. A caller with the last 4 digits 3610. Please press *6 on your keypad. And again, state your name and address for the record. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, my name is Trisha Dunn. I live on 8492 Cascade Street, and I'm so glad you guys are talking about this. This has been going on for a number of years, 20 years at least. I have all the information, but we are not a private road. We're a public road, because if we were a private road, we could gate it. And we've talked about this, and we did really work on making sure that you could have the firefighters and the police get down there in case they ever needed that. We've worked with the fire department, the police department. We've worked, I think you may see that we probably had 150 pages that we gave to you. We have worked so hard on this, and the traffic is just getting worse, just worse and worse and worse. So, and it's not safe. It's not safe at all. We have no sidewalks. We have no lighting. The kids stop at the bus stop. One child was almost hit when somebody tried to pass the bus. It's just, I don't want to go on because there's other callers, but it's just, I think you've seen all our letters. This is definitely a safety issue, and I don't want to see one of my grandkids or somebody else's child out there get hit and killed, because we've been talking about this for so many years, and we're so close. You're the only township left to approve it. So I'm hoping, it sounds like you're very positive on it, and I hope you stay that way. So thank you so much for your time.
Okay, the next caller is caller last 4 digits 3828. Please press *6 on your keypad, caller, and state your name and address for the record. Go ahead, caller.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, caller.
All right. I am the husband of the person that just talked. I've been out here.
Caller, could you please state your name and address for the record?
My name is Tom Dunn, 8492 Cascade Street. My family's been in this property for over 90 years, and this is not a private road. This is a public road. And the streets are narrow, and the houses are close to each other, and some are close to the road. And just for an example, today a school bus came down today, and the kids ran out in front of the school bus if a car was coming, and you never know what could have happened. I have 9 grandchildren, They go to the park. There's a park adjacent from where I live. And if they're always going across the street and other kids are going across the street, there are more kids in this neighborhood now. They are riding their bikes up and down the street. We walk the street because of the pandemic, and by walking the street, cars pass us. I had one situation coming off from the lights of Cascade Street and Union Lake Road. I came through there, and a car behind me came through, and she didn't think I was going fast enough, so she passed me on the side street. And I've seen cars race down this street, and it's not very long. It's only about 2.5 blocks long. I would appreciate if we could make this from at the beginning the one way, so that people can't come in through there, and to make that turn at Cooley Lake Road and Union Lake Road, and make the other turn back on the Cooley Lake Road. There's probably an extra 30 seconds for cars that come through there. I watch people speed up and down that street all the time, and it's crazy. There's something else I want to say. I can't remember, but anyways, it's a dangerous situation here, and it is a safety, and it is a public street. I think it's a county street. That's what I think it is. Not only that, it is a public street, a county street. There's potholes all over it, and they don't take care of it either. So thank you much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Going
Next,
on to
Ken?
the next. Yep, we're going on to the next caller here. That caller, the last 4 digits are 4252. Caller, please press *6 on your keypad and state your name and address for the record. Go ahead, caller.
Hello, this is Greg Strimpek. I live at 8298 Cascade. I've been there for 8 years now. I would reiterate everything that's been articulated today, and thank you for doing that. And I do want to, again, just kind of highlight the safety. We've had a couple of near misses with, our grandkids out in front, and it's just, it's a blink of an eye, and the visibility gets really tough in certain points. And when we've had the police come, which they've done, and they've done a great job, but they can't be there, all year, obviously, and they may stake out a spot for a week or two, and that works really well. But the minute they're gone, it gets right back to the way it was. So would certainly, appreciate any effort that you can do to help, finally bring this over a finish line. It's been a long time, as a couple have already spoke to, and we appreciate all your efforts. Thank you.
Okay, going on to the next caller. Caller with the last 4 digits of 3409. Please press *6 on your keypad. And again, state your name and address for the record. Go ahead, caller.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead, caller.
Okay, great. My name is Karen Young, and I've lived at 8566 Cascade for 19 years. I am a member of the Russell Beach Association. I do have an 8-year-old son, and I'm concerned for his safety as well as all the other children on the street and that are part of the association. The kids are out and about at the parks, like I've heard mentioned. We do use the street to ride bikes and take our dog for a walk. Twice a day, I am out there with him, waiting for the school bus, and we watch cars just race by while we're waiting, and there are no sidewalks, as you've heard. There is no good lighting out there. People ignore the stop signs. They use them like yield signs, or even worse, they just ignore them altogether. And with the development that's going in at the Four Corners development. I mean, construction's not even complete, and we've just seen an outrageous increase in the number of vehicles going down our road. So when those apartments are completed and the retail shops are filled and the restaurant is constructed, we're only going to see more traffic. People are not concerned with what's going on our road. They're all in a hurry to get where they're going. And we just fear for the safety of our families and our children and our elderly. And we hope that you will consider voting yes to this before a fatality or injury does take place. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, going on to the next caller. Caller with the last four digits, 4246. Please press *6 on your keypad and state your name and address for the record. Go ahead, caller.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, caller.
My name is Katie Roberts. I live at 8548 Cascade. My husband and I have been here for 10 years. We have 4 children. And when we first moved in, the traffic was a problem, especially with young children. And that's when I got on this committee. And we did all of our research, went to the road commission, and they were willing to do the stop sign solution at that point. While it helped a little bit, especially when the Oakland County sheriffs were out there, again, like someone else has stated, they can't be out there all the time. The street is not straight, so as it curves and with the short driveways, the visibility as a driver is not very good, but people don't drive like that. So it's 25 miles an hour, which in my opinion is too fast for the way the street is set up. That's the lowest speed for a public road. And people, of course, don't really go 25 anyway. So it's very dangerous. And with my 4 kids, it's very worrisome. Again, like people have stated, the traffic problem has just continued, especially with the development at the corner. And like Karen just said, it's not even done. People don't even live in those apartments yet. So again, I think that you're all looking at this as the safety issue that it is. And I just wanted to personally call in to thank you for your support, hopefully, for this. The Road Commission worked tirelessly with mostly Mike Drew, our leading person, and this was the plan that they came up with. So as far as, you know, the cost of it, they decided that it was going to be this tri-party. That was not our thing. And our understanding is if you don't approve it, we don't even have the option to come up with the other 5,000. So we need your approval also for this to go through. And again, this is, you know, for me, 10 years in the making, but I know for others, even longer than that. So thank you so much for your time and consideration on this. And I really hope you give us your support. Thank you.
Okay, going on to the next caller. Caller with the last 4 digits, 1009. Please press *6 on your keypad. Let's try that again. Please press *6 on your keypad, caller. There you go. Go ahead, caller. State your name and address for the record.
Okay.
Yep.
Penny Strumpek, 8544 Cascade. I won't oversell this because I'm in sales for a profession, and I know sales 101 is to stop talking yourself out of a sale. So I think we've done a good job at giving you all the facts. And I think when we started this off, there was very little objection. So I do appreciate that. The one thing I'll comment on, one of the board members made the comment on, you know, how does this benefit the entire township? I think the fact that the Four Corners development does benefit the entire township, and this appears to be, or our experience has been, a result of that development, the increased traffic, and just adding, compounding to that already problematic traffic that we have on the street. That is why, you know, we're seeking, in addition to the other comments that were raised, why we believe it would be a responsibility of the township to contribute here. So again, I won't oversell it or over comment, but just wanted to be here to thank you, as the last caller did, and ask for your support.
And we have what appears to be the last caller. Caller with the last 4 digits, 3856. Please press *6 on your keypad and state your name and address for the record. Go ahead, caller.
Good evening. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, please state your name and address for the record. We have lost 3856. Not sure what happened to 3856, but if you'd like to press *9 on your keypad again. We do have another caller here. Caller with the last 4 digits, 4418. If you could, please press *6 on your keypad and state your name and address for the record. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, my name is Barb Allen. I live at 1712 Point Street in the Russell Beach subdivision. I take advantage of the public park on Cascade, and I have seen, I can't tell you how many people blow through the stop sign. There's days when Cascade looks like a parade instead of a simple road in a subdivision. And I really think this is long overdue. It is a huge public health safety issue, and I don't think $5,000 is unreasonable to support this project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, it looks like we have caller with the last 4 digits, 3856 is back with us. Caller, please press *6 on your keypad and state your name and address for the record. Caller, there you go, caller. Go ahead and state your name and address for the record, caller. Make your comment.
Yes, sorry about that. My name is Michael Drew. I live at 8518 Cascade. I am the person on behalf of Russell Beach Association who has been spearheading this effort. I just wanted to thank the board tonight for their comments, particularly about safety of the residents. And I was only here to answer questions, and so I won't take up any more of your time except to thank you, unless there are any questions.
Thank you, Michael. Any of the board members have any questions? I think it's pretty obvious we know what the problem is and where it is. Mr. Powell.
Yes, I want to apologize to everyone listening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can, yes.
Yes.
All right. I wanted to apologize to everybody in the subdivision and to my colleagues. I'm usually not that wrong on things, and I apologize for thinking that was, for some reason, I was thinking it was a private road, because that makes all the difference in the world to me. I certainly also want to point out that to use Bogey Lake Road that is used by tens of thousands of people twice a day is not the same as Cascade. So don't go there. And I think we might get some feedback when people say we want our road cut through stopped and gates going in. But certainly for the safety, I think this is a great project. And now that it's a public road, I still believe that we're giving up $15,000 when it comes back, and you see how much funds is left in our tri-party fund. And I think Mr. Supervisor knows this. There'll be $15,000 less in that fund for use elsewhere in the township. But I am in favor of this as well.
Yep.
Very good. Thank you. Any other comments from the board members? Mr. Roman.
Well, no, if no one does, I'd like to make the motion.
Please do.
To approve the Russell Beach traffic barrier not to exceed $5,000 and allow the supervisor to sign any documents or agreements, and that this be subject to Commerce Township and Oakland County participation.
Support.
We have motion, we have support. Okay. Roll call vote, Mr. Noble.
I have one amendment. Does that motion need to be subject at all to Lisa's?
It'll be, and motion subject to legal review.
I will
Would you mind
amend the
amending?
motion as stated.
Thank you. I amend my support.
Mr. Noble.
Supervisor Kowal.
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Treasurer Roman.
Yes.
Trustee Voorhees.
Yes.
Trustee Powell.
Yes.
Trustee Ruggles.
Yes.
Trustee Smith.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, moving on to 9B. Request to use PA 1888 funds in lieu of bonding out Bogey Lake North Sewer Main Project. Mr. Roman.
Thanks, Rick. So the Bogey Lake North project, we had originally estimated a cost of just under 500,000 that we approved bonding out. We got so many prepayments on this. I mean, it wrecked us, guys. It shocked me. Let's see, we got over $159,000 of early payoffs in December, and they're still coming in. But because of this significant amount of payoffs, it's my recommendation that we change course and fund this project internally using the PA 188 funds. It's certainly going to save that group money, a good $36,000 of bonding and other legal and admin fees. The estimated money needed now is right around $300,000. The PA 188 fund right now, or as of January 7th, had $549,000. As far as interest rates, the local banks are charging from 3.5% and up, and those rates are going to shortly probably go up as well. Those are for short-term loans. As this SAD would allow payment over a 10-year period, my recommendation would be to internally fund this and charge residents an interest rate of 4%. And just so you all know, we're guessing that up to 10 families may also request PA 188 funds for another emergency SAD for hookups. That's probably coming. I just feel this is a great investment in our community.
Very good, Mr. Powell. Mr. Ruggles.
Yeah, I would
Mr.
like
Ruggles.
to, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'd just like to say I agree with Mr. Roman, and our treasurer is very wise. This is a great idea. It's a great savings for our residents, and it's a great investment for the township board. So I'm in favor of this, and I'm appreciative that he brought this to my attention.
Any other comments from the board? I'd like to entertain a motion then. Mr. Roman.
Motion to request the use of PA 188 funds in lieu of bonding for the Bogey Lake North Sewer Project.
I have a motion. I will support that motion. Okay. Roll call vote. Mr. Powell, do you have something to say, or were you going to support that?
I was gonna support it, but go ahead.
Okay. I beat you to the draw. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Powell. Roll call vote, please. Mr. Noble.
Supervisor Kowal,
Yes.
Trustee Powell,
Yes.
Treasurer Roman,
Yes.
Trustee Ruggles,
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Trustee Voorhees,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
motion carries.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. Item C is Resolution 21-004 to amend Resolution 20-39, which confirmed the Bogey Lake North Sewer Main Special Assessment Role and repeal Resolution 20-040, which authorized the issuance of special assessment bonds to finance acquisition and construction of the improvements. And I make that in the form of a motion. So we're just rescinding a motion that we had previously, of which now we are going to use the PA 188 money. I make that in the form of a motion, looking for support.
Support.
I support
I'll give it to Anthony.
I support from
I'll
Clerk
give it to
Noble.
Mike Powell.
I support from Mike Powell. Okay, support from Mike Powell. Mr. Powell.
Yes, and I also had support, but I
Yes,
also
sir.
have a question as to whether or not this resolution changes anything in the second public hearing for the assessment role, the confirmation of the assessment role.
Not according to the bonding attorney.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion with support. Roll call vote.
Supervisor Kowal,
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Treasurer Roman,
Yes.
Trustee Ruggles,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Trustee Voorhees,
Yes.
Trustee Powell,
Yes.
Motion carries. Very good. Thank you. Okay. Item D, first reading amendment to 21-10 to zoning ordinance 58. Mr. O'Neill.
Hello, yes, and thank you. This, just to kind of maybe clean this up, it actually is 20, it should be 21-01. This is the first zoning ordinance amendment series for this year, just so the agenda could reflect that to match what is at the top of your packet of proposed amendments. So you have a memo dated January 11th before you that kind of summarizes what you have in front of you, which is primarily housekeeping items. We've added a few definitions, cleaned some definitions up. There were two sections that I pointed out in specific, which were part 13, which deals with home occupation. This section deals with home occupation ordinances, or that is the section of our ordinance that deals with home occupations. Medical marijuana has been something that we've really treated as a home occupation in the township since its inception. And we really didn't put any regulation in the ordinance to maybe protect some of the neighbors from some of the nuisance type activities that are occasionally associated with the growing of marijuana in residential districts. So that section is to hopefully abate any future nuisance or, you know, the use of a home and a residence that's not being lived in, just a grow operation, which, you know, there have been instances where these homes have just been kind of run into the ground and used as just a grow facility. And we certainly don't want to, you know, have that occurring. So it's rather lengthy, but we think, and the Planning Commission also thinks, that it's important to add these regulations. And then part two of the list, and I'm mentioning parts, but as you can see in the packet of information you have, every amendment is broken down into parts just to kind of help maybe organize it a little bit. Part two deals with the section, Article 3, which deals with the minimal lot area calculations for new developments. We don't currently have a clear prohibition on how we deal with retention and detention basins in the net acreage calculation, but we feel that this kind of cleans it up, it clarifies it, and it's more than fair. You know, not we did hear from a developer who doesn't agree with that, but the Planning Commission was unanimous in its feeling on this as well, that areas devoted to stormwater retention and detention shouldn't be counted toward the net acreage, which is which helps you figure out the density of a project, unless it's able to be accessed and used and enjoyed by the residents. So while again, we did potentially take that out, there are some neighborhoods that have effectively a moon crater that's fenced in that really isn't even usable or accessible. But we did give back, because of the careful wording of the ability to count regulated wetlands, floodplains, and open water bodies toward the net buildable acreage if they're accessible and able to be used by the residents. So that language we added, which is, if you look at the track changes or the red line version, we added the sentence, areas devoted to stormwater retention, detention, or other similar areas of the site that are not available for the use and enjoyment of the residents of a site. Basically says that if you make an area that's not otherwise usable or enjoyable, you can count it. So I hope that I didn't confuse anyone, because I just kind of feel like I went on a little bit of a diatribe or tirade or whatever you want to call it there. So most everything else is pretty clear. Again, we tried to really clean some language up, and I'll tell you, as soon as we finish this, we'll find something else to start another list for an amendment, because this is sort of like a living document. And so I just want to thank the staffs, thank the staff for their hard work, thank the Planning Commission for their hard work, and then stop talking so you guys can ask me questions that you might have.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board after reading this thrilling thriller document here, this cliffhanger document?
Yeah, if I could just very quickly say, the Planning Commission did hold a public hearing that is required by law on January 7th. So that did happen. Notices were published, and we've met all the publication and noticing requirements.
Thank you, Sean. And as usual, I'd like to thank you and the rest of the department, your team, for doing an outstanding job. And I know that you resource everyone in the township for this particular these types of things. So it's
you.
definitely truly a team effort. Mr. Powell.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. First of all, I want to thank the board for putting up the fact that I get airport announcements and jets taken off around me. So thank you for muting me there, Ken. Certainly, I live and breathe by these documents here, and so I've reviewed them in detail, and I think the staff and the planning department did an excellent job in putting this together. I just had a question for Sean on a fairly minimal area. It's part 8, where they're talking about, because I'm on the zoning board of appeals as well, we get these kind of questions all the time. There is a distance of not exceeding 10 feet in the front yard setback for a deck or a patio paved area, but it doesn't give any distance, minimum distance in the rear yard. It just says may project into the rear yard. I didn't know if we just assume that that is 10 feet as well. And then I also had a question, wouldn't it make a difference if it depended on the height of that deck? If you have a deck on a second story that extends out and interferes with the view out of adjacent homes and things like that, I didn't know if Planning Commission discussed the elevation of the deck or the height of the deck above the ground. If you could help me out with that, Sean, I'd appreciate it.
You know, I knew someone would ask a question, and I do not have my ordinance book with me at home. So the only thing we're changing in that section is adding the to an enclosed deck. So none of the other language is being changed. I'll start by saying that, but you know, we do allow you know, low decks or unenclosed or uncovered decks to project into a side yard setback, and I don't know. Let's see, minimum. Sorry, let me skip to your second question, which is a covered, or I should say an elevated deck. I do believe that once you are above 6 feet off the ground, that it has to meet a setback. So to your question, Mr. Powell, that was, you know, if it's a raised or elevated deck, does it have to meet a setback? And I have to get back to you on that answer, but because I don't have it in front of me. But I believe at 6 or 8 feet, in height, it does have to meet that setback, even if it is uncovered or unenclosed.
Okay, no, I'm good, and I sorry to put you on the spot, Sean.
Okay.
I just caught that, so thank you.
Sure. Well, but Mike, that's a really good example of Sean's remark about it being a living document, because just when you think you got everything covered, here comes another angle. So this will continue to metamorphose itself over the years, and we'll see these types of things come back to the board from time to time. Thank you for the questions, Mike.
One other just very quick one is there is definitely a benefit to removing the easements and the road right-of-ways and things like that for most of the lots within the township. I'm going to put a little bug in Sean's ear that when you have a 1 acre, 1.5 acre, 2 acre minimum lot size, to remove area of roadway from a lot and end up with a net 2 acres versus a net 1/4 acre, there's a whole different view of what you should and shouldn't do when you're dealing with acreage versus a small 1/4 acre parcel. So you and I can deal with that later. And again, that'll be a future change, maybe.
Sure.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board members?
Don, oh, sorry, Rick.
Go ahead, Anthony. Go ahead.
It's like coming from Planning Commission, I just like to thank Sean for going over those ordinance, and Justin, they do a remarkable job. It's attention to detail, cleaning a lot of that language up. So I'd like to thank Sean and Justin and their staff.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion then to move this along to second reading. Anyone care to make that motion? Mr. Powell.
Mr. Supervisor, I move to move this ordinance number 2101 of the modification of the White Lake Township zoning ordinance to second reading.
I have a motion, looking for support. Support from Mr. Scott Ruggles. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Smith.
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Trustee Powell.
Yes.
Supervisor Kowal.
Yes.
Trustee Ruggles,
Yes.
trustee Voorhees,
Yes.
treasurer Roman.
Just a quick question for Sean. Was it 2101 or 21001?
It's actually just 21-01.
01, thank you. I'm a yes.
Thanks.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, 9E. Well, hit a subject matter that's very close and near and dear to my heart and has been a project of mine that I've worked on for the last 2.5 years, myself and Trish and a group of other people, and Kim, who is from our director, Kim Viner over at WODA, and Rick Hamill, and then Gary Wall got involved. We hooked Hornswoggled Gary Wall and got him involved. And Gary says, well, I know it's working. And I said, how's that, Gary? Because my phone's not ringing. So that's always a good thing. So we as a township board and our communities that are around us should be very, very proud of what we have accomplished and have moved forward with. And at this time, we now have another community that's interested, as we had mentioned during the forming of this particular organization, our authority, of which now we're going to do a resolution approving the Second Amendment to our interlocal agreement regarding Western Oakland Transportation Authority, WODA, which will be resolution 21-005, of which the City of Walled Lake wants to jump on board, and literally, pardon the pun. But it's a good thing because they'll be a financial contributor and will broaden the services even further for our White Lake, Highland, Waterford residents and broaden our community service area. So with that, I would like to introduce Kim Viner. And Kim, do you have anything you want to add to that? I kind of, this is my baby, so that's why I kind of put it out there. So.
No, you pretty much covered it. I mean, we have been servicing Walled Lake, but they were with us as a management company, basically through Highland, because they were with us before we formed WODA. But they're coming on board as being one of the members really boosts it up because now they have a major commitment with us as opposed to just being a contract of a management company and we can just bump off anytime we want to. So they do operate under a millage through SMART. They're an opt-in community with SMART with the 1.0 mill. That will come to an end at the end of 2021. So they're not exactly sure if they're going to continue to opt in, which they would have to have it on their ballot this summer, or if they will do their own millage because they could actually drop the cost of it and still produce the same amount to cover the expenses for the transportation, or if they'll look at some other form of funding.
Very good. And I understand their contribution. They're approximately, and Mr. Noble, I'm going to test you being a former police officer of the thriving megalopolis of Walled Lake. How many square miles is Walled Lake?
It's 2.8 with approximately 8,000 people in the last census.
Okay, and I believe they are going to bring us through their millage approximately, I could be off, correct me if I'm wrong, Kim, about 130,000 into the pot, so to speak.
They contribute 133,428, and then we get an estimated 5,000 additional in fares. So about 138.
So proportionally, they are making a considerable contribution, and it's good to have them on board for the success of the community as a whole. And we, again, all of us and other board members of the other boards that may or may not be watching us out there must look at this as an organism as a whole and not as what's here, what's there, what's here. We are servicing a group of people. I believe we've exceeded in this crazy environment. We've exceeded what, 17,000 rides, something 16? So correct me
It's
if
right
I'm wrong.
around 16,000 this year, almost 200,000 miles.
So that's pretty impressive. And, we're going to see some other neat things happen, with the food program. We're also helping people get food deliveries at home. We're going to have hopefully another partnership coming up, continuing strong with Open Door and community sharing with these services. So we're going to be able to provide some folks who really need it the most. You know, I just went through some of the census data, and in White Lake Township, 12% of the adult population does not own a car. 12% does not own a car. We have almost 32,000 residents, do the math. And these are adult residents. So these people do depend on us. And over 30% of our population is considered senior. So we have a service area within our own community. And I really, again, I couldn't be happier with this board and what's been done, and with Kim and her performance out there and taking care of things. It's made a huge difference to a lot of people. And in particular during the pandemic, when we were it, folks, we were the only way some of these people were getting to the store or the doctor or dialysis or whatever it is that we do. So that being said, any questions or comments from the board members? Mr. Roman.
Just want to thank you guys for all the work and effort you guys put in. I was actually a little bit skeptical when this WOTA started, but man, you guys are superheroes. You guys, just a phenomenal job. Keep it going.
We're working at it. We're working at it. And I appreciate all the board members' support on this. Each and every one of you have spoken to me at some point in time and promise. And Mr. Ruggles, I use you as an example when I talk to other communities.
You should.
Your comment that you said we fund, if we do it this way, we're going to fund it to fail. And your words ring true. And we've, people, it's not the end all answer to all the problems, but it certainly helps a lot of people, and it is an investment in our community that we're making. It's well worthwhile. And and also, I heard an ugly rumor the other day from my reliable sources within Oakland County that the RTA is crawling around again. Their rumblings are going, and as you all know, this is at least this has put us and these communities in a much better position to withstand an impact of such an action. So that being said, any other questions from the board?
Congratulations, Kim, on a very successful program.
Yes,
I'm very supportive.
absolutely.
Thank you.
That being said, I am going to make a motion. If there's no further comment from the board members, I'm going to make a motion that White Lake Township adopt and approve the resolution approving the Second Amendment to interlocal agreement regarding the Western Oakland Transportation Authority, WOTA, Resolution 21-005. Whereas a special meeting of the Township Board and Charter Township of White Lake, Oakland County held on September 24, 2019 at 5:30 p.m. A resolution was offered and supported approving the interlocal agreement for transportation services between White Lake, Highland Township, for the Western Oakland Transportation Authority. A special meeting of the Township Board of Charter Township of White Lake, Oakland County held on November 26, 2019 at 5:30 p.m. A motion was offered and supported approving the First Amendment of the interlocal agreement for transportation services between White Lake, Highland Township to add Waterford Township as a member community for the Western Oakland Transportation Authority. Whereas WOTA has operated successfully within White Lake Township, Waterford Township, and Highland Township since its inception, providing affordable transportation within an expanded geographic area for seniors 55 and older and disabled adult residents of member communities. And whereas the city of Walled Lake has expressed interest in becoming a WOTA member community, and the WOTA Board of Directors supports their request for membership and approval of a Second Amendment interlocal agreement. It's required WOTA to allow additional members, communities to join. And that was one of the things. This wasn't an exclusive club, folks. We want members to make this successful. Therefore, be it resolved, the city of Walled Lake is approved as a voting and contributing member of the Western Oakland Authority, WOTA, to be approved for the Second Amendment interlocal agreement for transportation service, and that's the supervisors directed to authorize the sign on behalf of White Lake Township. And this is signed, the agreement is signed by Dennis Witt, the Walled Lake manager. So that is a motion. Looking for support.
Andrea will support that.
I have support by Andrea Voorhees. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Kowal,
Yes.
Treasurer Roman,
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Trustee Voorhees,
Yes.
Trustee Ruggles,
Yes.
Trustee Powell,
Yes.
Trustee Smith.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate that. And I appreciate your continued support. We are, if we ever get through this insanity that we're at right now, we're going to do a few things that are going to get each and every one of you involved at some point. Kim and I got a couple things up our sleeve that we're working on, and we'll kind of divulge it. And we will provide you kind of like an overall report at next month's meeting. We'll kind of give you the lowdown for the last year's performance, all the numbers and some of the stuff, so you'll have it in print, and we'll make sure that we have that for you. So I appreciate your cooperation and your support for this additional community. Item F, request to approve DLZ engineering service proposal for Oak Ridge Park Sanitary Sewer Main Special Assessment District. Mr. Potter, you finally get a chance to talk. Turn your microphone on. There we go. Okay.
Oh, there we go. You know what? After watching everybody else forget to do that, then I turn around and forget to do it.
There you go.
Unbelievable. Yeah, so tonight you approved resolution 21-002, establishing the role, establishing the district for Oak Ridge Park Sanitary SID. Which brings us to the next step. DPS is requesting Township Board to approve portions of the attached DLZ proposal dated September 7th, 2021, including design engineering services, and geotechnical. This would be so that we can start to put the plan set together, get out to permits, and ultimately get out to bids, so that we may have actual costs or accurate estimates going forward to the next public hearing for establishment of the role. We've talked about many times in these meetings. Up till now, we've had zero budget for engineering. We will ultimately include engineering in the district once and if and when the role is established. But in the interim, I will need the Township Board to identify another source for funding this, which I believe should be major maintenance. And I'd also request that the Township Board authorize Rick Kowal, Township Supervisor, to execute all documents associated with the agreement.
Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, I would like to entertain a motion that we move forward with this. Can I have a motion? Mr. Powell.
Be honored to, Mr. Supervisor. I move that the Township Board approve the proposal by DLZ to provide engineering services and geotech services for an amount not to exceed $26,746, and to allow Supervisor Kowal to execute all documents associated with this agreement for the project labeled Oak Ridge Park Sanitary Special Assessment District.
We have a motion. Looking for support?
Support.
I have support from Mr. Scott Ruggles. Roll call vote, please. Mr. Clerk?
I think that was Anthony.
Oh, go ahead, Scott. I didn't see that.
No, that was your support.
I beg your pardon. I thought it was Mr. Ruggles. Okay, the support goes to Mr. Noble. Mr. Noble, roll call vote.
Supervisor Kowal.
Yes.
Treasurer Roman.
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Trustee Ruggles.
Yes.
Trustee Smith.
Yes.
Trustee Voorhees.
Yes.
Trustee Powell.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you very much, everyone. Now, 9G is the settlement agreement. I will turn this over to Counselor. Counselor?
I sent attorney-client privileged communication to the board members after 5 o'clock today, and I apologize for that. The reason it went out today was because today the township participated in a facilitation in one of the pending litigation matters. You might recall the township initiated litigation against the property owner at 10325 Highland Road. It's a commercial building with 4 units that had some building issues related to it involving the roof and some grading issues, as well as one of the units being occupied without a certificate of occupancy. Back in November, I'd sent you a status letter explaining where we were, and at that point it was just discovery. Today was the facilitation, and at the facilitation was Supervisor Kowal, Nick Spencer, and my partner, Ann McLaughlin, who handled it for me because I had my regular court date today. And sitting with a facilitator, they were able to negotiate a settlement. The supervisor, Nick, and the attorney from my office are satisfied with the resolution. And in fact, the order that I sent to you has already been signed by the defense attorney and the defendant. So it's acceptable to them as well. So I just thought, since you happened to have a meeting today, this was finalized just before 5 o'clock. I asked Rick if we can add it on the agenda. It'd be great to be able to resolve this today, seeing as though all the parties had really agreed to the terms. But if you're not comfortable, seeing as though I brought it to you so late, I know you've got some special meetings coming up. I just thought I would ask.
I have no problem moving forward with it. We were able to meet. Nick is completely satisfied. Ann was satisfied. I believe the needs of the township will be met. The protection of the public will be there. Public safety issues will be addressed. And I think actually there's more cooperation than I think everybody thought we would get out of this in the end. So I think all in all, we're moving in the right direction. And now Nick can get back to business at hand and put this behind him and move forward. Any comments or questions from the board? That being said, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the resolution of this and accept the agreement and allow myself to sign any necessary documents to represent the township. Looking for support.
Make a motion.
It would be signing this facilitation settlement agreement.
Facilitation agreement. Okay. Go ahead, Anthony. I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to facilitate and settlement agreement for the Reading, am I saying that right? Reading case?
Reading case. And allow the supervisor to sign documents.
And allow the supervisor to sign documents.
Thank you. Mr. Powell?
I'll support that.
Motion and support. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Kowal.
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Treasurer Roman.
Yes.
Trustee Ruggles.
Yes.
Trustee Smith.
Yes.
Trustee Voorhees.
Yes.
Trustee Powell.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, that takes us, we got through that in 2 hours and 8 minutes. Not too bad, okay? This takes us to trustee comments. Andrea, what's new and exciting? How's your dad?
It's been a rough week. Thank you very much. Hopefully he's on the mend. Thank you for asking. Last month I talked about manning station number 3. So this month I'm gonna bring some forward some information about fire station 3. The groundbreaking, this was a little shaky, was between 1976 and 77. Fire station 3 sits on 1.42 acres. At the time, the supervisor was James Reed, and he turned over the first shovel of the $82,000 structure. And I know that project should be complete within 150 days. And the block building, which is now standing, is 1,800 square feet. The funds for the building will be paid from a $150,000 loan from the Farm Home Administration, which I haven't found any information. I just thought that was a great name. Also at that ceremony, the new 2,000-gallon tanker was unveiled. And this will replace the 1955 GMC 1,000-gallon tanker. And the total cost of that tanker, which was a 77, was $24,000. I know where life has come in those few years.
Add a couple zeros times 2 on a new one.
Exactly. That's why I had to read the same number twice. I'm thinking I'm reading that wrong. That's all I had first. I just thought it was kind of interesting. At one time, that was even used as a precinct. I never personally voted there, but it was used as a precinct at one time. In regards to Parks and Rec, we're busy as ever. We're still working on Stanley Park, and we're almost done with finalizing the plan for Stanley Park, so that we can start hopefully getting some grants to put Stanley Park together. And as always, I finish my monthly meetings up during this wonderful pandemic that we're in is by being safe and being healthy. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ruggles.
Yeah. Yep. So the Planning Commission met on December 17th and January 7th since we've last met. Both meetings discussed the items that we saw tonight, 9D, those ordinance amendments. So other than that, I'd like to take a minute to talk about Stanley Park. I know we've got some meetings coming up that are going to be discussing that. And Mike and Liz are involved, and Andrea on the Parks and Rec. So at some point, that's going to come before the Township Board. So I just thought I'd throw a little input out there. As far as activities that take place at the park, I'd really like to see something that would get me to turn the wheel and drive over there when I've got my wife and children in the car. You know, what would they want to go do? What would they want to go spend some time with, other than just walking on a trail and sitting in a pavilion? You know, what would they have fun doing at the park? You know, where it would become a desire for us to actually, you know, go down there. And I don't know what that might be. Maybe it's some kind of a small splash pad or a basketball court or some kind of activity that'll keep them busy, a small play structure, or, you know, something along those lines would be great, I think, for that park. Something different than what we already have in White Lake, right? Because Bloomer's basically just what it is. Go for a walk, come back up, and it's great. But, you know, it's not something that we're going to continually, repeatedly go do. So just my 2 cents. We're going to have some more discussion about it. But I'm interested to see what has happened so far and what we have to look forward to. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ruggles. Mr. Powell.
Wow.
I got a new nickname for you, by the way. I thought about this. George Perot.
I like that. I feel as old as George Perot as well.
Most people don't know who he is, but
I'm practicing safety too, jetting around the country.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate you guys putting up with the airport noise. Certainly, Scott, Liz and I and Andrea are trying to address those exact concerns. We too are very concerned that we want to provide something new, something different. And this is our main downtown. We're going to have apartment dwellers down there that really need a place to go and be active and not just walk around and say, isn't that a beautiful tree? And so I think you're going to be impressed. Liz and I have been trying to engage the consultants to be creative as possible, and Andrea as well. But I'm looking forward to presenting that to the board, the full board here next week as well. Otherwise, I wanted to thank the board for all your professionalism, and I just consider it a pleasure being part of all you guys and representing White Lake Township. And that's it, Mr. Supervisor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Trustee Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. So I'll start out with just a very quick library update. They are still doing curbside service per executive orders, but they do have some exciting news that they have began their patio. I don't know if this can be seen real well on the screen, but every resident receives the library newsletter in their mail. And so they have started patios where you can come and socialize, and that they hope to have programming and Wi-Fi is available there. So that's very exciting. Some of it was done by donations, And so that's a great addition to the library, that there'll be patios off this adult and children's area. So that's new, and they hope to have maybe some small outdoor concerts, or, you know, the sky's the limit of what they're able to do, provide entertainment for and engage our residents. So that's new at the library. And then also they had an election in November, and I was amiss, I apologize, but we need to welcome their new board members as well on the library, and they have two new trustees at the White Lake Township Library Board. Next, I want to just mention, last week was National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. And as we all know, we have the most wonderful police department here in White Lake Township. So I want to thank them from the bottom of my heart. I know our entire board feels that way. Also thank Clerk Noble for his service as a police officer. And I just want to make sure our whole community knows, if you didn't know it was National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, there's still, of course, time to reach out and thank them this week. So please do so. I want to, and if Scott, you want to jump in at all, I don't want to step on your toes for planning, or Sean, but there was a grant that we recently were allocated from the Oakland County Restaurant Together Relief Program. And we were allocated $23,000 to help support our local restaurants here in White Lake Township. And we received one igloo, which was given to Nick and Tony's Coney Island, 3 greenhouses. I believe that went to Billy's, Cantina, I'm going to say it wrong, John.
Mojave.
Mojave, thank you, Mojave Cantina, and Stella, right? Stella, I'm butchering their name.
I froze a minute. You said Stella's Table. I think my connection.
Stella's Table, right? So they received the 3 greenhouses. And then we received 15 patio heaters, and we'll have a supply of propane in hopes to replenish those patio heaters. There is a phase 2 to the grant that, it's my understanding, will come along in February. I don't know what those resources will be yet, but our planning department is on top of that. So I want to thank Sean and Justin for actively seeking those grants to try to help our local businesses and restaurants in White Lake Township. Andrea mentioned, we opened up Fire Station 3, and that is the first time in White Lake's history that's ever happened. That's a huge accomplishment. I want to thank our board. I want to thank our fire department. That was a partnership, and we all deserve a round of applause for that great accomplishment to best serve our residents. As far as Stanley Park, I want to thank Scott so much for speaking up and joining me in my thoughts that we really, and Mike Howell and I have been strongly advocating in the Parks and Rec Committee, that we really need something to do, that it can't be a passive park, that the community needs to understand that this park will be our central park, if you will. It will be amenity to all of our residents, that it will be adjacent to the Civic Center and what that development will be in the future. And so thank you in supporting our thoughts and ideas that we really need to follow the path to have more amenities offered, more recreation for our township residents. And then we hope, as the Parks and Rec Committee and Stanley Park Master Planning, to bring the best possible product forward to our board by February, so we can hit that grant mark by April. So I want to thank the Parks and Rec Committee for working with Trustee Powell and myself, and I'm very much looking forward to bringing that to all board members very soon here. I know our board has talked about it, but I want to give publicly my sincere condolences to the passing of Deputy Clerk Bill Bullard, and he will be greatly missed. I'm sure Anthony will speak on it as well, but there is a memorial service for him on Saturday, January 23rd at 12:45. If anyone else would like to participate in watching and memorializing Bill. I want to welcome our new deputy clerk. We haven't had a chance to meet him yet, and And due to these strange circumstances of COVID and not being together, I hope that we get a chance to meet him, but I do want to extend a warm welcome to our new deputy clerk. We have a great opportunity right now with this new year and our new board moving forward to really beef up our newsletter. So I just kind of want to throw that out there. I don't know if it can be electronically to save money in mail, but we have so much going on, and our board has so much momentum, and we have so much information to share with our residents that I'm hoping we can find a way, a better way to do that. So everybody put that in their think tank of how we can beef up a newsletter or communication to our residents. And then lastly, I just want to mention that in the future, on a future agenda item, I want to consider changing policy of how we appoint committee members and commission members. I want to know more about them before they're appointed. Right now, I know it's at the supervisor's discretion, but I'd like to see maybe an interview process or a bio, or I want to know that that committee member is really plugged in. I'm finding committee members that don't know what's happening in the township, and that's shocking to me. And those spots should be taken by very interested residents that are taking the time to know what's happening in our community. And lastly, we are in a nation, we are amongst a nation that's in great distress. And I just want to pray for peace and safety for our nation and our residents. I want to thank our first responders, and everybody please stay safe at this time. And I look forward to seeing you all in the near future. We have many meetings coming up, so I'll see you all soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Roman.
Thanks, Rick. Well, first I'd like to wish everyone a happy new year. It's gotta be better than last year. Mike, safe travels back to Michigan. I'm glad to hear that you are not boarding a 737 MAX. Want to give a heads up to all of our residents that winter taxes this year will be due no later than February 15th without penalty. And, I know a lot of residents, they get their tax bill, they throw it in a drawer, and sometimes they'll forget about it. If you get a chance, read your tax bill. There really is a lot of information on it. For residents that have forgot to pay their summer tax bill, there's actually a message right on your winter bill that says you may not have paid your summer tax bill. Check it, that could be you. On the back of your tax bill, there's all kinds of good information, including how you would go about paying your taxes online. You can use a credit card and or an electronic check. I also want the board to know that we have temporarily suspended processing passports, mainly for two reasons. One, end of January and February get really busy for us with tax. But more importantly, I just wanted to make the board aware that my front staff is experiencing severe issues with our tax software freezing up. This has been going on for months now. It's outrageous. My staff's computers can freeze up 15 to 20 times a day, in which they have to do a hard shutdown and then restart. My staff is ready to throw their computers out their windows. We're working with Rick, we're working with Trish, we're working with Oakland County, we're working with IT Right. We still haven't figured out what the heck is causing this. But I want to thank my staff for putting up with it, because it really is an outrageous situation. With that, Rick, that's all I had.
Thank you. Mr. Noble.
I would like to thank the board for all the support that everybody's reached out to the Bullard family, to myself. It was a tremendous loss for White Lake. Mr. Bullard, Senator Bullard, as I would refer to him as, had a long distinguished career in the political arena and politics, and just overall just a great human being. And I'm going to miss him. It's a devastating loss to my family and to his family and all that knew him. And I would like to thank everybody for their support towards Mr. or Senator Bullard. And another thing I'd like to point out is this last week, we have a pretty new, within a year employee, Justin, the assistant planner. And also I'd like to point out with Sean, they caught an error with one of the publications. Justin took it amongst himself to fix that, saving the township through negotiations through the spinal column, bringing me in. What a credit he is, what a great hire he is. And under Sean's leadership, it was tremendous to see him take the ball and run with it. So he's got the township's best interest in mind. And I just like to acknowledge him and Sean for that. That's all I have to say. And I'd like to thank the board for their professionalism. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone, and all your comments. And what I have to say is, things change, and unfortunately, you can have a plan, but if you want to hear God laugh, just tell him your plans, and that's a reality of it. So, we just got to move forward and see who's going to, come into our lives at this point. Our new deputy clerk will be here before too long, and we'll build a relationship with him, and he'll become part of the team. He has a lot of experience in dealing with the public in a lot of ways, and that's a major attribute that we have to have here. And I want to give kudos to Justin also. When I came across the grants for Oakland County for the restaurant stuff, it hit my desk, and I sent it over to him. He was hot on the trail on that like a coon dog after a raccoon. I'm telling you, he was right on it. And him and Sean got that together, and it's unfortunate we really didn't get a whole lot of notice. And that was the one thing that really kind of, I didn't quite get that. And Sean and I were a little annoyed with it, but we're very grateful for what we got. But Oakland County, give us a little more heads up, okay? And it would make things go a little easier. So in a stressful time with a lot of things going on, a lot of stuff coming our way, we've got some changes coming soon around, Central Township, and a few other things that are in the queue right now, and we'll see what happens. And also, the Civic Center planning is continuing to go on. As you know, we're going to have some joint meetings here before too long and keep that moving along. And there's a lot of people that have interest in what we're going to do. So we as a team will work at it, make it work, go forward. I certainly thank all of you for supporting WOTA. That's one of my pet projects. And we've got some brand new buses, and they're beautiful, and they're not diesel, okay? And they're Ford, okay? And you can take them to a regular dealer, and it doesn't cost you $1 million to get anything worked on them, but they're brand new. They're the new version of the Ford high top van. I had an opportunity to go for a ride in one the other day, and it was nice. It was quiet. It was clean as a whistle. It has a wheelchair area in the back where if you don't have a wheelchair in, you can 2 seats flop out of the wall and gives you extra seating. I mean, well thought out, good job. And Smart is now starting to loosen up and get us some more vehicles, because I think they're finally realizing we're not going away. So, which is a good thing. So with all that, I say to my colleagues, thank you very much for all your hard work and efforts, and good night. God bless. And I am making a motion to adjourn.
Wait.
Yes. Yes.
Since I've interrupted you all this meeting, I might as well do it one last time. If you will all please humor me. We did not go through and everybody announce where from the location they're participating. If we could please just do that before you make that motion to adjourn.
Okay. Mr. Ruggles.
White Lake, Michigan.
Rick Kowal sitting in the supervisor's office. Andrew Voorhees.
White Lake Township.
Anthony Noble.
White Lake, Michigan, sitting in my office.
Mike Roman.
7350 Cedar Creek Drive, White Lake, Michigan, 48383.
Okay. Mr. Powell.
I am in Detroit Metro Airport, Wayne County.
Okay. And Trustee Smith.
White Lake Township, Michigan.
Thank you. Well, we all know where we are and where we at and where we're going. Good night. God bless. Motion to adjourn. Looking for support.
Support.
Support from Trustee Smith. Roll call vote.
Supervisor Kowal,
Yes.
Treasurer Roman,
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Trustee Ruggles,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Trustee Voorhees,
Yes.
Trustee Powell.
Absolutely, yes.
Motion carries. Good night, everyone.
Good
Good
night.
night, everyone.